Hi. And now I got into Daphne. Welcome to the Talking Domination for 2025. The season is already off to its usual start with Father Tex drafting first. Too Good Tyson at the top, Jazz on the bottom, and Coin at the perfect 5.0. The Kingmaker has wasted his fab, and once again, Dr. Evil has lost his starting quarterback, while the Quadfather has found the late-round quarterback diamond. MB2 is having one of those bad years. Handsome Andy is having one of the good ones. Big Papa is mediocre, and Johnny Fantasy has reverted back to his Ringo years. But one thing is different. The bard is soaring, and I'm sure we'll hear all about it tonight. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you. Leave the phone, shut the door.
Oh, God, it's me. Oh, what's going on? Hello. Oh, look at that.
It's all right.
There we go.
Now we're good.
Now we're rocking. How are you, mate? Welcome back.
Wait. Next moment. Now it's my time. Out.
Chaos.
It's the season is not one I expected. I talked about at the draft that, if I got all the players I wanted, and you sort of said, "Are you sure these are the players you wanted?" And I said, "Yes, they are." And maybe they aren't the players I wanted because the season has not started the way I hoped it would have. I'm sad.
Yeah, look, we'll come to it. But before we do, I'm surprised that we can afford Daphne again for another season. I actually thought this might be a bit of a situation, sort of like the fourth year running back who's still on a rookie contract, but knows their worth. I thought she might hold out for this season and demand more compensation before appearing on the show again.
It was actually worse because I had now to pay two of them, paid for them in tears if they weren't participating in the program. Welcome, Jono. Good to see you. Logged into YouTube. Fantastic to see you, buddy.
G'day, Jono. So I've put together the show for tonight. Chris was a bit too busy, so it'll be reminiscent of the format of last year's shows with probably a few barred twists. So I think without any further ado, we'll get into it, mate. Everyone's had enough time with my hand-drawn podcast backdrop. It took me hours over a hot easel. All right, over to you, mate. This is one of our most enduring segments, and it is the Kingmaker's quote. Is there music for this? Are you going to hit us with it? Yes, there we go. All right, take it away, mate.
Dear Lord, you've done so much for my fantasy success since I turned to the warmth of your blessing, and I again call on your favor to smite the heathens of this league and part the draft order selection like Moses parted the seas, so that I may again draft your beautiful child, Josh Allen. Amen. Father Tex, prior to the draft night, probably.
Josh Allen is beautiful. One of God's finest creations.
Fun fact, and Tex really has, and I'm not a religious person, but I'm wondering if I should convert to having faith, because ever since Tex found his faith, he has dominated this league. And he wasn't bad before that, but he was not the levels we've seen since he became one with God. And I'm not beneath that. In fact, when I was playing Tex in the Heron Bowl 2 years ago, I actually got down on my knees and I prayed to whatever Lord there is, whatever God energy that exists in the universe, to let me have that one championship. But I did feel it was a bit in vain praying when, Father Tex was on the other side. And he, once again in that game, made sure beautiful Josh Allen won the chocolates for his favorite son.
Very good. All right.
It's Kurt in a time machine from 16 years ago. Love the picture, Kurt.
Fantastic. All right. I know we have music for this. Hit it.
I wasn't ready. Jesus.
Oh
All right.
gosh. Sorry. All right, we're bringing back the Commissioners Tribunal for the first time this year, and this week I'm putting on trial kickers. I fucking had it with kickers, Chris. The whole position is ridiculous. And I'm not just talking about fantasy, like just football in general. Honest to God, it seems like there's like 4 dudes in the league that can play this position and play it well. And everybody else is just out there swinging a leg and hoping for the best. Like, you know, if you're the Cowboys, right, and you're starting your drive from your own 25-yard line, you only need 20 yards of offense before you're into old mate's range, and you're trotting him out there for a friggin' 60 to 65 yard that's basically automatic, right? You got 3 points on the board for doing fucking nothing, and meanwhile there's like 20 other kickers in the league that on any given week are missing PATs, missing chip shots from 20 yards in front. I just don't get it. I don't understand how there's like 500 blokes in the NFL that can competently play a position like wide receiver, and somehow there's like 3.5 that can kick a ball through the uprights, mate. I'm done. I've had it with kickers. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that kickers need more respect in both real football and fantasy, because you're right. Everyone makes this assumption that they're all the same. They can all just kick the ball. But for years of fantasy, there's been 1 or 2 or 3 guys that are just infinitely better than the rest. Yet all the experts will say, don't draft a kicker until the last round. But then you draft Brandon Aubrey and you fucking love life because he gives you 30 points a fucking game. Like, there is value in a good player. So just like these players in the real game, they should be paid. Do you know why there's only so few kickers? You know, they only come out of 2 schools in America into the college system. They're all taught in these 2 special clinical schools. It's the only place the kickers come from. It's incredibly expensive, and that's why they're all white. Because just rich white people put their kid in kicker school when they're 5 years old so they can become an NFL kicker.
Yeah, nothing to do with it being the least athletic position on the gridiron.
I reckon there would be a bunch of amazing African-American men that could kick a ball better than most of the kickers.
Probably.
But they have not been allowed into the position.
Yeah, they've been locked out.
Locked out.
Yeah.
Just like quarterback. Quarterback's been allowed in, but now the kicker remains a pure white thing except for that Asian guy.
Do you mean? Yeah, he got like sacked, didn't he? Like he missed a bunch of kicks in the first week, and then he was gone. They brought in like John Parker, Tony Romo to replace him. Yeah. Anyway,
I think. Well, would you entertain removing kickers from the league? I don't like no league kickers. I don't like leagues without kickers, but some people do them.
Look, it gives me something to complain about, but I don't know. I just felt this week in particular just felt really, really polarizing for kickers. They were either drilling them from like the next suburb over, or they literally couldn't hit the fucking broadside of a barn.
We have, I believe, the sleeper scoring for kickers is a little bit more favorable than probably the traditional ESPN scoring, where if you kick it further, you get more points. And I wonder if we haven't really, maybe that's too much, or maybe we should all be aware of that when we're drafting.
I mean, that's not a sleeper default. We actually we decided to turn that on a few years ago, where you get extra points for kicks over 50 yards, whatever it is. Yeah. Anyway,
thankfully, Jared has drafted Aubrey this year, so it's somewhat irrelevant.
Great. Okay. Winner and loser. All right. So winning at both fantasy football and just life in general. 2 weeks in, we've got Tyson, who's pictured here, really embracing and leading into his new life over there in the US. He's doing great. He's on top of the world. He's certain, and he's on top of the league, as well. It has to be said. He had the opportunity to get his boy Hurts at the draft, which is one of those rare homer picks that you actually feel really good about, right? Because not like he had to reach for him. So now he gets to enjoy the season cheering for his own guy. McCaffrey is looking good. JT's looking even better. Tet McMillan, who was a bit of a dark horse, has started to heat up. Odunze there, feasting in probably what was a lot of garbage time as they were getting their teeth kicked in by Detroit. Some guy called Fannin, who I've literally never even heard of.
Would you like to know some facts about Fannin?
Some Fannin facts? Yeah, hit me with some Fannin facts.
So I have Tyler Warren as my tight end, who's going well. And he's a rookie tight end that everyone was obsessed about because he broke all these tight end records in college, except he didn't break them because he broke them, but then immediately after Fannin broke them all in the same year. So they're both elite, but Fannin wasn't getting any hype pre-draft because he's on the team with Njoku, whereas Warren was going into a team with no established tight end. But yet immediately Fannin appears to have taken Njoku's spot.
There you go. Tyson is currently encumbered with Geno Smith as his second quarterback, but I feel like there's a pretty good chance he's going to be able to flog him off to his cousin in an unbalanced trade of some sort, just so old mate can get his boy in the lineup. So yeah, but yeah, living his best life. 2 weeks in, dominating the league.
I thought maybe he was living his best life. And then I saw a video the other day and thought maybe things had gone off the rails because I think he has a striking resemblance to the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. And I wondered if he had shot Charlie Kirk. And
I'm going to stop you right there. Kimwood got taken off the air for making only passing remarks about this. So I don't want you and I to get cancelled.
All I said is that guy looks like a guy. What we're doing this with the Craig Schluter cricket woman thing.
We're going to move on. Jono is not traveling that well 2 weeks in. I think it's fair to say. You alluded to it before. He's lost his highly drafted starting quarterback to an injury called turf toe, which is done the rounds of social media this week. Apparently everyone finds the name quite amusing. Do you know what turf toe is, by the way?
This has been talked to. People have had turf toe before in the NFL, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Yeah, it's more of a. It's not typically a quarterback's injury. I will say it's a running back's injury.
Yeah.
Usually.
What is it like? What is it? A broken toe? A sore toe? What is it?
John says it's fine. Dr. Bates says it's all good.
It's fine. What's fine?
I'm guessing the turf toe is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously he's got that. He's probably the first sort of high-profile injury casualty, and Jono's also huffing on some hard copium about Travion Henderson taking the starting job at New England.
Well, we all thought he was going to get the job, but the 2 weeks of the season have told me that he's not getting the fucking job. Hence, I dumped all my fab on Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, he's got Caleb Williams, who is absolute trash. Quite frankly, the only part of this roster that I'm excited about is the rampaging Green Bay Packers defense. So well done, Jono, for picking them up. But other than that, this is looking a little bit rough.
And I know he's got Browning, and I thought about Browning, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But the schedule that the Bengals have is so hard, and their offensive line is just so bad. That's why Burrow gets sacked all the time. I can't imagine it's going to be much better with Browning.
Yeah, if they can't protect Burrow, I don't see it being any different. The case for Browning is that he's got two, all-world receivers to get the ball to who can make plays happen. But I feel like he's going to spend a lot of time picking dirt out of his teeth as he gets sacked for the 17th time in the game. Anything further to any further dirt to pile onto Jono's grave here, or can we move on?
No, he's done.
He's done.
It's over. Sorry, John.
All right, hit the music. All right, there was a bit of coin thrown around this week. I think it's fair to say, mostly by my esteemed co-host. So let's go through the big three expenditures that happened. So the Ramondre Stevenson one, and it goes hand in hand with that Travion Henderson piece that we were just talking about. I think I was as surprised as anyone to come to the realization that Ramondre Stevenson was unowned in the league. And last week he was 60+% owned across Sleeper. I think we all kind of missed on that one. There was a general assumption that he was going to be buried in a kind of an unproductive committee. But first 2 weeks have kind of borne out that he's been getting a lot of the early downs work. I think the value for waivers got inflated a bit by one massive pass play, where Drake May played a beautiful ball downfield to him. But I think he's someone that obviously attracted a lot of attention. Card Factor thought he might get in for free. Not sure why. But yeah, so a pretty healthy and robust bit of bidding that went on for Ramondre. But it has to be said that nobody wanted him anywhere near as badly as you did, mate. So maybe you can make the case.
Well, I have one amazing running back in Bijan, and then Walker is playing. It seems to be in a timeshare with Charbonnet, though I'm not as concerned about it as some people are, because Charbonnet can't fucking do anything except for block. He's a very good run blocker. He's actually the best blocker in Seattle's line, right? So he's in there for half the plays, but you sort of know they're throwing the ball if he's in there, because he had 11 carries for 10 yards, right, in the recent game, and Walker had 11 carries for almost 80. So though Charbonnet was getting the goal line work. Anyway, there's a risk there, and Walker always gets fucking injured. So I'm a bit worried about that. I thought Pacheco would be good. I think he still could be, but the Chiefs are just such arse at the moment that no one is good in that offense. So I felt that the quality of the player that was sitting here on the waivers was a must get. And if you remember last year, I didn't waste my fab. Kyron Williams was available in week 2, and I put in a modest bid of $33 or some shit, and Tyson got him for maybe 70 or something, and he was a top 5, top 6 guy for the rest of the year, and I never even spent the rest of my fab. There was just nothing to spend it on of any value for the rest of the year. You end up doing $5 here, $10 there, and then you drop those guys the week later. I'm like, this guy should not have been on waivers. I don't know how he made it through 2 weeks. It's insane he wasn't drafted in our league, and I'm like, I'm getting him. I
think Carter's saying that he was drafted and he got dropped.
Carter dropped in, did he?
This
is how much Carter values him. Draft him. Not great game, but he leads. Then tries to pick him up again for $0. Oh, that Carter.
That's funny. All right. We then had the aforementioned Jake Browning, who we've already talked about as potentially going to be spending a little bit of time on the ground behind the hopeless Bengals O-line. This was a really robust bidding war, and Jono didn't end up massively overpaying at all. Obviously, Jono was in the position that he needed quarterback help. Browning is not going to keep his job for as long as Burrow is out, right? So I think this is $100 for us for a stopgap solution that isn't going to go the distance, unfortunately. But
you think that they will trade for someone like a Jameis Winston or something?
No, but I mean, JJ McCarthy, as far as I'm aware, is not. We're not talking a months long.
Why are we talking about McCarthy? I'm sure Browning. Browning was in for the whole year.
Yeah, but who did Jono lose? Oh, Jono lost
Burrow.
All right. Someone had JJ McCarthy though, right?
It's me.
It's you, right? So that's you, right? We're going to come to you. That's right, because we're coming to you now with this one. So, this I may have baited you into this with my commentary during the week that I was going to bid on Carson Wentz, but this is a little bit embarrassing for you. I think it has to be said. So, how did you end up in this position?
Well, it's a number of factors. I don't want any fab. Fuck fab, right? Fuck it. Now I don't have to worry about that shit. That's how I like it. I had to get Wentz. Originally, I was putting a lot of money on Browning, and I was going to take Browning and Ramondre. But look, this JJ McCarthy situation is very concerning. He's played literally 2 good quarters, and 2 of them were against the fucking Bears, who have been shown to be just fucking woeful. Like, the only 2 good quarters were against the Bears. Like, the Lions just destroyed them. You know, the Falcons' defense is not amazing, and JJ was rubbish. Now, the rumors are like, it did the ankle, yet he played out the game. No one actually saw him limping. There's suggestions that he's been sent back to the pasture, sort of Bryce Young style, and maybe he'll come back later in the year, but he just wasn't ready. So even though it's a 2 to 4 week injury, I do think there's a risk that Wentz is coming in for a longer period. And at least, I think, to round 6, because they're going overseas. They're playing 2 overseas games, the Vikings, and then they have the bye, right, at week 6. So I just feel that they're like, let's put the golden boy on ice. Let's get him some time to get his shit together because he's looking horrible, and everyone will start calling for his fucking head. So let's bring in Carson Wentz to steady the ship. And he is throwing to Justin Jefferson. Soon he'll be throwing to Jordan Addison. Hawkinson is good. And don't forget, this is the coach that got the greatest season of all time out of Sam fucking Darnold. So if anyone can resurrect the ghost of Carson Wentz, it's whoever the coach is at this team. So I have a belief that there is a potential that Carson Wentz is in for half the season and playing well based on this information. And if I had this belief, one of the other idiots in this league could have had that belief, but apparently I'm the only idiot. So shame on me.
I will say you've put like a substantial amount more thought into this than I figured you would have. And I think your reasoning is sound. And if it does turn out that he's a productive starter for a good part of the season, then everyone else is going to look silly for not bidding higher. So best of luck to you.
And if he does do that, I'll be very pleased. You always remember the guys that carried you well. That year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, when Carson Wentz got injured right at the last week, I had him that year, and he was great. That was the one good year he ever had in his career. And I'm just hoping for that to come back, and he and I can ride into the sunset together.
Did you consider trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers, who is available?
I don't know about this Aaron Rodgers. I have more faith in Carson Wentz.
That's fair. All right. We'll finish off with the belt matchup. So, text on the. Oh,
hang on, just Julia Beans.
Sorry, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
All right, we have Tex represented. I don't know who this guy on the right is, but he represents Tex, who currently holds every trophy and belt that the league has to offer. And
technically, Tyson has the Hex helmet.
And up against him on the left is Stu, represented by Mike Tyson, who, much like Stu, is maybe a little bit past his prime, but still willing to get in there and give it a go, even though he might occasionally humiliate himself. I'll tell you what, the Sleeper AI fucking loves Stu's team this year. I think someone else has pointed it out. His projections through the first 2 weeks have been absolutely astronomical. I've never seen anything like it. He's projected 136 points this week. I'm not sure he's going to come even close to that. But do you have any insight as to why Sleeper loves this team so much, Kingmaker?
Well, who's it given the points to? I can't really see because it's so little.
It thinks Devon Atchain is good for 19 points against Buffalo, which the Buffalo defense is not particularly great. So that's not.
To be fair, Achan is a very good pick as long as Tua is playing, because Tua can't throw the ball longer than 5 meters. So he throws it 5 yards to A-Chain and then runs about 30. And that's how the Dolphins do anything, if we are capable of doing anything. Because you can tell that he's not interested in throwing it to Tyreek Hill. Or if he does, he's going to complain about it endlessly after the game.
Mm.
And then Tyreek will complain about Tua.
Yeah, he's got Kraft into the lineup. I think he left him out last week and probably regretted it. But big Tucker Kraft is
really you on the Kraft thing. I think I had sort of thoughts about Kraft. Took Mark Andrews instead, which has proven to be an incredible.
I just didn't draft a tight end at all. But yeah, I love Kraft, mate. I'd love to say I'll try and trade for him, but we all know that old mate here has never made a trade in 13 years in the league, and it's not about to start now. So
if you offer Big Papa your 3 best players and your firstborn son, he'll do the trade. But as long as it's for someone who doesn't really
I think he would still like be unwilling to pull the trigger because he'd be convinced that he was getting fooled somehow or getting bamboozled.
That Stu is so hard to trade with that once I agreed to trade with him while he was drunk off his fucking face in Singapore watching Formula One, and he's still such a sensible trader that he said, okay, good, we got a deal. We'll process it in the morning when I'm like sober. And then in the morning, I'm like, we're doing the deal. And he's like, I'm not doing that deal. The deal's shit. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Like, if you can't get a guy when he's drunk at the F1 to press accept on a dumb trade, I mean, it was a fair trade, actually, but on any trade, when are you going to get him to like ever accept?
So on paper, Stu should absolutely romp this matchup in, but on form, it's not necessarily going to be the case. Tex famously is going to roll out Josh Allen. I'm not sure how hard God's chosen child is going to have to work to actually beat the hopeless Miami Dolphins. But hopefully he'll
not very hard at all.
AJ Brown has been pretty contained with the first couple of weeks. The Eagles haven't really needed to unleash him, but this might be the week. Could be a high scoring game against the Rams. Spencer Rattler is a guy who plays in the NFL. And I don't know if Tex actually plans on proceeding with starting the Ravens defense against Detroit. That seems dicey, given Detroit just put up 50 plus last week. But who am I to question the back-to-back champ? But yeah, this should be a good one. It's funny because based on projections, Tex is the underdog, but on form, couldn't be more different.
If Tex can, if Big Papa can get up, maybe next Wednesday we can do the quiz night, and Tex can bring the belt. I think that was the 1 week Tex said he might be able to do, and they could hand the belt to Big Papa. That'd be nice. That'd be pleasant.
Would be Tex. He's probably not watching live. He can't answer this question, but I feel like he's on a pretty extended win streak. If you go back to last season, certainly extending into last year's minor rounds, because he obviously won his way through the playoffs. If anyone knows how many games in a row Tex has won,
he might be coming up to the record for the most weeks with the belt in a row, as you mentioned. I'll need to check. I'll check those stats before we do a show. But I think you hold that record at the moment, to be honest.
Do I? Well, then I'll be cheering extra hard for Mike Tyson's fat ass. Let's go, Stu. All right. So that is it.
Wonderful. Great slides. Great presentation. Well done. I'm unable to do the slideshows this year.
Is that it? You're just going to do them this year. This is on me now, is it?
I have like 3 senior people on maternity leave.
Look, I don't care about your lawyer problems, mate. Where's your priorities at?
It's clear. Well, that's another reason I've blown my fab. Now I don't have to worry about fab. So I know you don't want to hear about my other leagues, but I literally blew my fab in all 6 leagues. It's all gone.
Fab everywhere, just blowing loads.
Just like all over those leagues.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, mate. Good to have the show back. We'll we'll hopefully convene next week in person. Is it next? Is next week we're going to the quiz night, right?
Yeah, I think we should do the podcast every 2 weeks. It gives us a bit more content, not as repetitive, and not as much pressure on us. Do you like that?
I agree. Thanks for tuning in.
And next week, next Wednesday, quiz night, little bang, boom. I think Kurt said he could do that week because it's in school holidays. That might make it easier for everyone else as well because it's in school holidays. And on Friday, I will be at the Aqaba for the game. So, anyone that can get out of their shitty job, come and join me and James at the Aqaba.
And next Wednesday night, we'll get pissed and we'll start planning our Melbourne trip to watch the Philadelphia Eagles.
What do you think about the idea of the draft being in Melbourne the night before, as Jono suggested?
Is it actually the opening game of the season?
That's what it said in the article, that it'll be the opening game.
If so, I think that's an epic suggestion, which I'm very much on board with. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. All right, awesome. We'll see you probably in 2 weeks.